You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. It's great to be back here with you today. Looking forward to starting another week off right. It's amazing how quickly these weeks seem to come. Now, one of the reasons why I love starting the week with our Motivation and Mindset Monday show is so that each one of us looks at a new week as a fresh set of days to be able to move forward in life. Now, every week doesn't have to look like a rocket ship taking off towards your goals. But one thing you're going to find by the end of this show is that your future is being determined each and every day of your life. And I want to be able to explain that to you. And I'll tell you right now that I honestly believe the concept that we're going to go over today, that I did not make up, that no one made up individually, that's been around since the dawn of time, is one of the greatest secrets that is never taught in schools. It's never mentioned by the media. And only recently, within the last 150 years or so, are more and more people writing about it. And what I'm talking about is that each and every day of your life, you are literally creating your life. Now, you might say, well, sure, I'm going about my everyday business. I'm getting up, I'm walking the dog, I'm feeding my kids, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Sure, and that is what you're doing at a microscopic level, at a minute level. But if you were to then to piece all of those days together, you'd begin to see what we call a year. And if you pull all of those years together, you begin to see that is your life. Now, it gets a little bit deeper than this, and I want to begin to explain it because you and I, each one of us, are literally creating sickness or health, depravity or wealth, loneliness or great relationships, disconnectedness or spirituality, any number of things. We're creating either the thing we want or the opposite of that. And I know that it may not seem that black and white to you, and that's because there's a lot of gray area in between. But I can tell you this, we're either moving towards whatever that goal is, let's just call it health right now, or we're sliding backwards towards sickness. But how are we doing that? The problem is this. No one ever stops to look to see how it's actually happening. And no one's ever had it explained to them that it's happening each and every day. When people say, oh, is it a big deal that I had a bag of chips? I know I wasn't supposed to do that on the elimination diet, this, and the other thing. And I say, it's no big deal. This is not the end of the world. It's one meal out of, let's say, 3 times 21 days, right? So it's one meal out of 63 meals, or it's one cheat out of 63 for those first 21 days. However, what if that were to happen every single day? And that was 21 cheats now out of your 63 total meals. Well, now that's a third. How much faster do you think you would make it to your goal if you stayed on point for those 21 days? Now, it's only 21 days, right? It's only 21 days. It's only 3 weeks. But when you're in it, it's the longest 3 weeks, right? Anyone who's done the 21-day detox, they know what I'm talking about. If it's new to you, it could feel like, oh, well, I've been doing this forever. Actually, you've only been doing it for about 10 days, right? But when it's new to you, it feels like this is the first time. This is taking a long time. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a drop in the bucket. Now, here's the thing, though. It is those types of challenges that you give yourself that you begin to create routine. That is the biggest thing. For me, the 21-day detox, or just think about this, any 21-day elimination diet that you want. Just think about any one that you want, because it doesn't have to be specific. You do something for 21 days and you do it every single day. That's what I want you to look at it in terms of your career or your relationships or whatever it might be. You do it every day for 21 days and you maintain that routine. Again, 21 days, not a big amount of time in the grand scheme of things, but what it does is it begins to set up your daily habits, because it's the only thing that matters in life. It is the only thing that matters. That's it, is your daily habits. Again, not the first person to come up with this, but I can tell you this. If you show me your daily schedule and you're honest about it, I can tell you where you will be in a year from now or 5 years from now. If I see someone and they are not well, and I ask them and I just go through the de-stress protocol. I mean, that's basically my intake. Hey, what's your diet look like? What's your exercise look like? What's your stress reduction look like? How well are you doing removing toxins? Have you thought about that? What is your ability to get into that sympathetic nervous system and rest? What's your sleep look like? What about your emotions? Are you angry? Are you typically upset? Are you anxious? Are you overwhelmed? What's your supplement protocol look like right now? And where's your mindset at? Your success mindset. I just have to go through that. That's all I have to do. But remember, you can do that on your own. You can answer those questions right now. And if you're honest with yourself, and again, I give this away for free. You can literally go to stevencabral.com/podcasts and just type in toxicity quiz. Take it yourself. You'll be able to look at all of these different things, and it's free. And what I want you to do is this. I want you to honestly assess your life, because I can just tell you this. That person, when I go through the diet, the exercise, the stress reduction, the toxins, the rest, the emotional balance, the supplements, and the success mindset, I will know how quickly they're going to achieve their goals or how long it's going to take, if ever. Because if they are not doing the specific things on a daily basis that will ultimately lead to their goals, it's going to be the same thing day in and day out. That's why people say, well, how's life? Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Same old, right? Same old. There's usually one extra word attached to that, but it's just same old. Same old. Well, here's the thing. If it's the same old, great if you're loving life and you're enjoying life. That's it. My wife and I had a long conversation about this the other night. And sometimes same old isn't necessarily a bad thing. And that's where we're kind of coming to that conclusion, like, what do we really want? We were just talking about that. And for the most part, like, there are things that we want. There are things that we're striving for. And many of them revolve around our daughters. So we look at that and that's kind of thing. But for the rest of it, we're like, no, like, that's good. Let's not always put stress on ourselves to have to do more and be more if we're good with that. And that's what we said. We're good. We're good. But here's now the areas that we want to concentrate in. So now we have to begin to work on those areas. Well, let's give you some real examples. I work with a lot of different practitioners in my practice. So about a third of my practice is other doctors and health coaches and personal trainers and athletes, like people who are really in it. And I work with them and we work at a super high level and it's really, really fun. But even at that level, I can begin to see which people are going to be more successful or why someone has started to slide backwards. And a lot of times it's they stopped doing the things that got them there in the first place, or they simply weren't keeping up anymore, or they were given bad advice. That happens as well. Let me just give you an example outside of that just for a second as well. If you strive to be a great writer, I also work with a few people who want to improve their overall health-based trajectory, and they want to write books, and they want to do all sorts of different things. And I say, okay, great. You want to write a book? You want to be a great writer? How many books do you read a month? And they'll say, maybe one. And I know it's not one, but they're saying that, maybe one, because they think it's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear anything. I just want honesty. That's all that matters. And I say, okay, and how many pages right now are you writing a day? They're like, well, none. And I say, okay, so you want to be a great writer. You're telling me you want to be a great writer, but you don't read and you don't write. Now, I know I'm being a little harsh there, but I'm trying to prove the point, because reading social media and reading magazines and reading articles online is not a book, because a book is 200-300 pages with one theme, right? It's with one ongoing theme. It's different than a 2,000-word article. And it's certainly different than 142 characters or so, right? So that's what I want to look at, is if you want to be a great writer, do you believe that reading a book a week, right, so that you're reading an hour a day, would allow you then to get more ideas? I think it would. If you want to be a fiction writer, do you think that you should read more fiction books? I would say yes, at least in the beginning. Maybe afterwards, you don't want the creative process, like you might have your own creative process. But when you're a beginner, you need to model. One of my favorite people in the world, and again, you know that I don't ever share all of my celebrity and athlete and all that clients. I don't, because I respect their privacy, just like I hope that people would respect mine, right? So like I always just try to do what I would want myself. But Robert Parker and his wife have now passed, but I had the privilege of working with them many years ago. And Robert Parker, for those of you who don't know, is a very famous and very talented writer. He had the Spencer novels. He had many novels. Great writer, and movies were made. I got to go to his debut of his movies and all this great stuff. He was a great human being. I know that he had a struggle for some time that was like everyone in life. We all have our struggles. He overcame that. And the person that he became, as I met him after that, was an amazing human being. Here's what he did. He's a prolific writer. He wrote 4 books a year. That's unheard of. I mean, it's absolutely unheard of. 4 fiction books a year. That means 4 stories came out of his head every single year, about 200 to 300 pages each. He was an absolute machine when it came to writing. And if you've never read any of his books, check them out. You can probably just go to Robert Parker, just look up Robert Parker, the author, and you'll be able to see that. Lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I remember I used to drive my car over there and meet him right at his home. Amazing. I love being able to reminisce with him and his wife, Joan, two just beautiful people, philanthropists. They did so much with charity. Great people. Very, very unique. And we had amazing conversations. So I could talk about that all day, but I won't. But here's what he did. And the reason why I bring him up is this. Every day, do you know what he did? Every day, he wrote 10 pages. Maybe he kept the 10 pages. Maybe he didn't. He never wrote 9, and he never wrote 11. If the 10 pages took him 3 hours, he was done in 3 hours for the day. If the 10 pages took him 6 hours, he spent 6 hours that day. If he could have written 2 or 3 more pages, he stopped. He always kept just that little bit extra in the tank, and it's what allowed him to do this every day. Why does that matter? Because he created a routine. And that routine led him to be one of the most prolific authors ever in the entire world. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone else with 50-plus books or who wrote 4 books per year and have such an audience that he had. How can you use this methodology in your own life? Because again, I was young, learning from him, and I'm a student always. I try to soak up everything around me. All these people nowadays, it's like, if you didn't go to this Ivy League school, or you didn't study under this particular mentor, or if you didn't come from this particular town, or whatever it might be, it's like everyone has their own set ways. I'm telling you right now, you will be stuck in your own little bubble if you do not get out of that and be open and willing to learn from everyone. I don't even have to agree with the person in order to learn from them. I keep my mind open. Why? Because it costs me nothing and I can benefit tremendously. So I never close myself off. And people might be like, why are you reading that book by someone who doesn't even have a degree or certification or whatever? It's because I just say to the person, I say, maybe they have information that I don't know that I could learn, that I could use. So here's the thing. We all have to stay open, and we don't always know where that information is going to come from. But I'll tell you this, regardless of where you get your information, regardless of that, it should be a trusted source. But regardless of where you get it, you need to put into some type of routine in your life that allows you to basically do on autopilot the same thing or same sets of things that you know what the outcome will ultimately lead to. So let me give you another example of this. You might not be Robert Parker. I'm not. I can't even write 10 pages a day. That would take me the whole day, right, to do that. That would take me a tremendous amount of time. He was very gifted in that. Now, it doesn't mean that I can't ever write a book because I've written a few. But it doesn't mean I can't write a book just because I can't do 10 pages a day. But what I could do is 3 pages a day. So that's what I ask you. What is it that you can do so that you don't allow what you can't to stop you from doing what you can? It's one of my favorite quotes, one of my favorite lines. Never allow what you can't do from stopping you to what you can. You have to be able to focus on what you can do in order to move forward in life. And you have to also understand that the way that we reach a goal is never by huge bounds. It's by small steps. And it's those small steps every single day. Now, this should give you hope. It shouldn't be like, oh, it's going to take forever. No. Regardless of the time, it's always done in the same fashion. But here's the nice thing. If you never make the huge leaps and bounds, it's going to be ultimately easier for you to do and sustain. Because there's a lot of people that we can cheat their way to their goal. And you'll see a lot of those diet plans out there right now. And you'll see a lot of over-exercising right now. But I tell you this, the diet plan that you're on, could you maintain it? If you can't, you're going to yo-yo. It's just the way that it is. I've been doing this for too long to ever say, oh, well, that's a diet that you can maintain for life. And if you can't maintain it for life, it better have some type of succession plan, right? So let's say, for example, someone's on our 21-day detox, okay? It's going to be lower carbohydrate. Absolutely. It does that on purpose. But then it transitions you off to gradually reintroduce a lot of those starches. Why? Because you're going to eat them anyway. You're going to eat them anyway, and many of them you need. They're nourishing for your body. They're brightly colored. They're what help to prevent cancer and heart disease and stroke and high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. Don't think by eating berries and great veggies and yams and sweet potato, you're going to get type 2 diabetes. That's not in the cards. That is not in the cards. Processed carbs, processed starches, hydrogenated fats, yes, right? But that is not the plan. So what we need to do is get you on the plan. Sure, I don't mind a jumpstart plan. I like that actually because you get a quick win. Start to feel good. That goodness allows you to be more motivation. It makes you want to do more. I love that. But then what is it that you can do 360 days a year? I'll give you 5 days off. That's it. But no, seriously, what can you do every single day that allows you to know by the end of that, you're going to achieve your goals? Here's another example. If your goal is to lose weight and keep it off, do you think that you need an exercise plan or a movement plan? I hope that you answered yes, okay? Some people need exercise more than others. Those people that have a lowered metabolic metabolism, metabolic rate, who are more of the endomorphic body type, need more rigorous exercise than those that are the Vata body type. And I know that this is not common sense. It's not, right? I didn't know it. Nobody really knows it. But it will be common sense to you once you start to learn more about body types. You can look at someone and you can say, oh, that person's naturally leaner. They have a smaller bone structure. They have very thin calves naturally, very thin forearms. They have a longer, thinner neck. They can pretty much eat whatever they'd like. Do you think that that person needs to exercise a lot? The answer would be no. They should still move their body. They should still exercise. But we have certain movements for the Vata body type, and we have certain movements for the Kapha or endomorphic body type. Now, what if that Vata body type, the thinner body type, ended up putting on a good amount of weight? Do you think they'd now have to exercise? The answer would be yes, that would be a good idea. Because why? They're in a more Kapha-based state, and then they're going to bring their body back into more of a natural state. But let's say that you are a body type that just naturally, generally, tends to gain weight easier than losing weight. Okay, we need to develop a plan for you that you can maintain and sustain for life that will allow you to be able to actually eat good quality food, not deprive yourself, not starve yourself, not go low calorie every day of the week. That will allow you to move your body, achieve your goals. Does it need to be back-breaking exercise? The answer is no. But should it be more days than not? The answer is yes. 4 to 5 days. 4 to 5 days. That's not too much to ask. Why? Because not only will you get the weight loss benefits, you'll be able to eat more calories. That's a great thing. But also, it will confer upon you all of the health benefits that go along with exercise. Last Friday's podcast, I went over what happens when you turn a couch potato into someone that moves their body for about 30 minutes a day. Well, their chance of disease of all-cause mortality goes down by about a third. How would you like to live maybe a decade longer with good quality health? I hope that most of us would want that. And if you don't want that, I want you to ask yourself, why don't I want that? Because everyone right now should have a purpose and a passion for living, and that is the only reason I could think of why someone would not want to live a long, healthy life. So I want you to think about this. what is the goal? Just think of one for right now. You can have as many goals in life that you want. You can have as many dreams in life that you want. But it's much easier to achieve a goal if we look at one main one at a time and we put our focus and we develop a plan on that. So I want you to think of a goal right now. I want you to choose an area of your life. Do you want it to be your health? That should always be number one, to be honest with you. And here's why. If you have your health, you'll be better in your relationships. Your body will be able to transform itself to a greater degree. Your spirituality can be deeper. Your relationships, everything can be better. Your career. Here's why. If you have your health, you have energy. You have vitality. You have more in that proverbial, or I should say, basically your bank account that you can now spend. You can now have more life in you to be able to live more of your life. So what I want you to think about this, though, is you choose. What's your main goal? Body transformation? Improving your overall wellness? Working on your relationships? Working on your career? Or deepening your spirituality and connectedness? Choose one for right now. Now, what is it that you can do and what can you model that you know works or should work that no matter what, who knows when it will take, right? Who knows? Let's not focus on that quite yet. But by doing those specific actions, it should ultimately lead to the result that you want. That's what we need to do. And then if you have a goal that you've set for yourself, let's say you've already come up with a goal, right? We're in August this year. We're in August. The goals you may have set for yourself in January, did they come true? And if they haven't, is it just time, right? You just need more time. Or is it that you don't really know why they haven't come true? Because if you're wondering why they haven't come true yet, you have to ask yourself, how often and how consistent am I in working to those things on a daily basis? Have I been exercising, if my goal is weight loss, 5 times a week? And no, it's not just about exercise. But also, have you been following a specific nutrition plan for all of your meals, except for maybe a cheat meal per week? And again, you can get more lenient once you've achieved your goal. But right now, we need to do the things that people do to be able to lose the weight. And if you're looking to move forward in your career, well, have you done then the mentorship? Have you hired a coach? Have you read books on what you want to achieve? Have you done the certification? What have you done that you then deserve to move up in your career? That's what I ask. Same with the relationships. Are you doing what you've always done? Because if you are, that's most likely not going to improve your relationship. Now, maybe your relationship's great and you've already done those things. Well, that is most likely not then a goal of yours. But don't also stop doing the things that allowed you to have that great relationship. Same for spirituality. If you say, well, yeah, I just don't know my place right now in this world. I don't feel connected to anything. Have you, again, found a good teacher, a good coach, a life coach? Have you read the books? Have you gone to the church, the temple, whatever religion speaks to you in order to deepen that? Because if you haven't, you can't expect to reach that goal. Now, the bigger thing is this. Find the plan, but don't just find the plan. Consistency is the key. If you work a plan each and every day, it ultimately has to come true. That's what I'm saying. You almost can't help but to achieve it. Let's go back to the writing. You want to write a book. Okay. So you kind of like me. You do 3 pages a day. Okay. 3 pages a day is not going to take forever. Maybe 90 minutes, right? Who knows? Maybe it takes you 2 hours or 3 hours. Let's say you do a page every hour because you're a little slow writing. That's okay. That is okay. So let's say that it takes you that long. Okay. So those 3 pages, and you want to write yourself a nice 300-page book. You finish in how long? We can do the math together, right? You finish in 100 days. How long did that take you? Well, just over 3 months, right? Just over 3 months. And you might say, I don't want to wait 3 months to write my book. Well, I'll tell you right now, how long's it been since you wrote that book? Never, right? So take the time. If you finish a little faster, that's okay. But do you also see how if you write 3 pages a day, the 300 pages seems enormous. It seems too much to comprehend. But 3 pages, 30 minutes per page, you can do that. No doubt about it, you can do that. You don't even have to use all of them if you don't want, but that forward momentum moves you forward. You learn so much through the process itself, but if you're not working the process, then you don't learn. Working the process will teach you more than life. Than anything that you could get out of life. That's it. Because you begin to work the process and you understand then, oh, this is now what I need to change. This is why I didn't get the results. But no matter what, with those 3 pages a day, you have a finished book in 100 days. How amazing is that? That's absolutely incredible. And you can use this same philosophy and same principle and same routine with any goal in life. That's the bottom line. And that is the secret that we've never been shared, is that if you have a goal, it's never a matter of if it will come true. It is never a matter of if. If you find the correct plan that you got from someone that has achieved that before with multiple people, then it will come true. Never follow the outliers. There will always be the athlete that doesn't need to practice. There's no doubt about that. There will always be the person who's in amazing shape and they can eat fast food and whatever they want. Do not follow their plan. They are an outlier. Follow a plan that the majority of people in the real world get real results with. Follow that plan. Now, if you work that plan, then you can learn from the process. But how often do you have to do it? You have to do it every day. It's not too much to ask, though, because if you have big goals, if you have big dreams, it's not your whole day, but a little bit of your day. You're worth it. You deserve it. You need to be following that routine, though. That routine is ultimately what leads you to the goals, to the dreams, the happiness that you want. And I think you'll begin to discover this, that as you begin to get momentum, as you begin to accumulate wins, your self-confidence grows. So not only do you just know, oh yes, I'm going to achieve this, I can see the progress, it's only a matter of time, you're going to want to share it with others, and you're also going to create even more hopes and dreams. This is really what it's all about. I'm telling you right now, don't give up on your hopes, don't give up on your dreams, don't listen to the naysayers, move forward with passion, move forward with energy. And I'll tell you right now, is that if you do that, there's no way that you can't control your own destiny. You have to be aware of this. It's never been shared with us, but there's ultimately nothing you can't accomplish if you're willing to do the work, you're willing to put in the time, and you simply believe. You have to believe. I agree with you that some people get a little bit of a head start in life. They do in certain areas, but never concern yourself with that or other outside forces that you don't control. What you can control is you and your daily habits, your routines and your actions. I want you to create a plan, work that plan every day, and I want you to own your life. Do this every day for 90 days, and I have no doubt you'll never look at your life the same way again. You'll now understand you are pure potential, just waiting to manifest that into reality. I wish you all the best, and I hope these words today were helpful. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. As always, if this was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else it could serve. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.